Hello, my name is Ashwin, and today we're going to be learning how to factor. So, we're going to start out with the basic form ax squared plus bx plus c. And I'm going to just show you the ax, the a, the b's, and the c's here. You can see the x squared, x, and already. Now, I'm going to put a 1 in front of this. That's the a, coefficient of x squared. B right there, -12, and C would be +20. And how I start by factoring, I like to do it in my head rather than do like the synthetic division stuff, or whatever they do these days. So I start by listing out the factors of the C, which in this case is 20. You'll get good at this and start doing it in your head, but for now, just list them out. And we have, and I list them out, and this is important because this ax squared plus bx plus c form will end up factoring into x minus plus or minus something. I'll just put a plus because then you can always put negative. And x plus something. These x's would have had coefficients if the a had been anything other than 1. If it had been a 2, then there would have been a 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here, or the other way around, whatever. So, this is the basic template here. Now we know the C is 20, and I list the factors out because that helps me determine B. One of these combinations here, 1 or 20, 2 and 10, will end up here and here. So a 1 and 20 could go there because then when you FOIL it, and if you don't know how to FOIL, go to my last video and figure out how to FOIL. This 1 and 20 will multiply to 20, and that'll be the only term without an x, so that that'll be part of that. So, and I just look at this and I go, we also know that these...
A vast virus database has been updated.
This -12 here is going to be the sum of a pair, and the pair can be negative since they both can be negative in the pair since it's +20, so you can have -1 and -20, that's still multiplied to be +20. And I look and I'm going to see 1 and 20, will that in any way add up to -12? And I don't see it. At closest it'll be like a -19, or that'd be -20 anyway. And now we look at 2 and 10, and I see it, because if you do make them both negative, you get -2 plus -10, -12, and 4 and 5 doesn't work, so that's a 9 or a 1. So all you have to do is -2 goes in there, and what once was a dot is now a dash, negative sign, and a 10 goes in there. And to simplify that, make it look nice and pretty, x minus 2, x plus, no, not plus, hey, signs, pay attention to your signs, x minus 10. And if you FOIL that out, x squared is right there, and the -2x minus 10x, that would be -12x, there you go, and -2 minus 10, multiply those together, you get +20. And on to our next one, and here I have what I like to call, well, everyone calls it, I like to call it difference of squares. And why they call it that is because simply you got one square, another square, and you're subtracting difference of squares. And how you do this is you gotta memorize this format here. This is the answer basically, and it works for all of them. Yeah, you have a 9 and a 4. You have a 625 and I don't know, 400, whatever square you want to put in there, you can put in there, and this will be the format. And how it works is, this is actually in the format, this 4x squared is actually a square x squared, and this is actually b square y square. So what I do to these first is I'm going to square root that to get ax and by, and that'll just be 2x and 3y, and that's ax and by, and all you have to do now is just plug that right into the formula, and not formula, like format, not really formula, 2x plus 3y 2x minus 3y. And why this works, and I'm going to go against FOIL here, I'm going to start with the first term anyway. 4x squared, I'm just going to do FOIL without order. I'm going to do like FLEO, I guess you would call it FLEO. But I'm going to do it first, and I'm going to do the last. So you get a 4x squared minus 9y squared, and you're thinking, oh, you can't do it, there's still two, you still got to multiply two more things, but the beauty about this is it's going to cancel out. If you multiply the 2x times the 3y, negative 3y, you can get a minus 6xy, and if you look at the inners, I guess I did flowy, whatever, you're going to get plus 6xy, cancel out, and that looks the same as that, so I'm right. And now we're moving on to what they call the difference of cubes, and the format is here a cube plus x, not plus, a cube x cube minus b cube y cube. And so first you're going to start out just like we did the last one. Get the ax and the by, so this time you're going to have to cube root everything. You should know what the cube root of 8 is, that's a 2, and then x, and then the other one, arrow might be a bit misleading, there you go, and then the 27y cubed, disregard the negative for now. Cube root of 27 is 3, you should know that as well, 3y. And here's the general format right here, and you will probably get used to these terms right here. For me, the hardest part is the signs, and I always forgot which sign went with which one. You'll figure out what I mean by which one on the next example, but to remember, I need to use the SOAP acronym. Same sign, S, opposite sign, and then always positive. So if we look at this, we have negative here, and the first one is S, same sign here. So the first sign has to be the same sign as what you see in the original. The second sign is always the opposite, so we have a minus here, that'll be a plus here, and the last sign is always positive. And started by writing the end product. Just complete that. So 2x, and it's real easy. Just once you got it down, all you gotta do is plug it in there. And 2x, if you're gonna square that, square both of them. Make sure you do that. 4x squared, and you add abxy, so we did xy, so I'll write that here. And then AB is just 2 and 3, so that's 6. And then by squared is just 3y squared. And make sure, once again, that you square both of those. And you get 9y squared, and that is your answer. Sometimes this term could, so I don't think it ever simplifies, but if it does, just make sure you check, because you should, teachers will most likely not accept a half simplified expression. And how SOAP really helps you out is when you have sum of cubes as well. And so I'm gonna do SOAP again. I did not draw an ear. That was beginning. I was definitely beginning in S. Anyway, SOAP, same sign, and same sign right here. Opposite sign, definitely opposite, plus or minus, and then always positive. So it also works out with this one. And once again, I use the same numbers so you could see the difference. So once again, use cube root both of these. 9y. Oh, no, that's bad. 3y. And we start here, just same thing, plugging it in to the original, the formula format. That is the answer. And once again, make sure you remember to square both of these terms. And then this is just 6xy and 9y squared. So just, only difference is the signs, which is what I was trying to prove by showing you the same term, just a different symbol, the plus and the minus. And I guess I can prove to you why this works. I'm just gonna, it's just simply, the only way to prove it is to FOIL it. 8 x cube right there. And oh, wait a minute, I did that wrong. I just like writing pluses, I don't like negatives. That's a negative right there. Stick with the format, not with what I say. Even though I did write that format, but whatever. Anyway, I should probably erase that so you can see it too. Alright. So then we go with this 2x and the minus 6xy, so that's minus 12x squared y. And I'm going to actually show you why you can just scratch that out right there. And if you look at this, 3y and 4x squared, that'll be a positive 12x squared y. And similarly to the difference of squares, that's why this works, is because it cancels out those middle terms. And so we did this. I'm just going to keep track of what we did already. We did these. So what we have to do is this one, 2x and 9y squared, so 18xy squared. And we can also cancel that one out because we haven't done this one right here. The 6x, then minus 6xy times the 3y, which would be minus 18xy squared. So the same thing, just negative, so that cancels out. And then we would multiply the final terms together. Plus 27y. Oh, forgot the 7. 27y cubed. And that should work if you try to if you go back to the difference of cubes and you try to FOIL that out too. It definitely works. So, and our final one has no format to it, and it's got a cube. So what are you gonna do? Just try and factor it. No. You can, if you look closely, and now we're gonna do group these together. Sorry if it's cut off. Had a little malfunction with the pen. So we group these together. Just put a split right there. Makes it easy. But yeah, don't forget that negative sign. Yeah, okay, there. So we're just gonna take out the greatest common factor from this one right here, and you can easily see that's a 4x squared. And when you take out a 4x squared, the first term will leave an x, the second term will leave a 12, and now I forgot to change this problem. The second part of this problem is a plus sign. No, I'm just going to make it look like a plus. And then for the second part, we can take out a minus 9 right there. And when we take out the minus 9, it leaves an x minus 12. So now that we have like terms, we can just combine these here. Make sure you put parentheses to indicate you're multiplying the whole thing. And I know what you're thinking now. Oh, wait, what did you just do? That's not right. You can't just combine those. And I'm going to be like, yes, you can combine those, and I'll show you why. So let's just say we have 4 times 3 minus, let's say, 2 times 3. So we can clearly see that 4 times 3, 12, minus 2 times 3, 6, would just be 6. And if we do what I just did here, 4 minus 2, and then the like term 3, we can clearly see that 4 minus 2 would be 2, multiply that by 3, and would also get you 6. So these two here are definitely equal. And you might think that this is the final answer, and that means you took the bait, and you'd also get this wrong on a test, because this right here is a nice example of the second type of problem I showed you, the difference of squares. You can clearly see that this is the square of 2x, and this is the square of 3. You got negative difference of squares. That can be further simplified. And you just take out that 2x plus 3, a 2x minus 3, and keep your x minus 12 on there. And that is your final answer. Thank you for watching. Make sure if you didn't get any of this, go back to the previous one where we multiply binomials and polynomials, and you watch that. Make sure you know how to do that before you come here and try to factor them, and be on the lookout for my next video.